Hey, how you doing? Thanks for tuning in. I'm Jimmy. We're making it work. Just got here, opened up a shop, getting ready to spend a day in the shop. Been pretty busy lately, a lot of odd repairs too, so hope you're enjoying the content. I'm doing my best. We're trying to make it work. A little bit of entertainment, a little bit of sarcasm, sometimes stupidity, sometimes wit. You never know what you're gonna get, so stay tuned and find out. Got a beautiful 64-degree morning. We're expected to be in the high 70s today, 77, 78, something like that. So hope the weather's nice where you're at. Let me know in the comments what it's like. A lot of people are really good about that, letting me know. It's interesting to see. Everyone lives all over the world, mostly all over the country, but everyone's got some really varying weather, kind of unusual. But anyway, let's stop babbling. Let's get to work, get the shop open up. Stay tuned. Alright, this here Hyundai Equus does not crank, but I've been playing with the push button start, making sure the brake lights work, all that kind of stuff. When I do the smart scan on all the modules, it was saying the PDM wasn't communicating, the power distribution module, which is kind of weird. I went into it directly and it's showing me data. So something weird going on with that. But when I push the start button, you see start relay output changes to on. Start button switch on. Start relay input on. And I let off the button, so the button's off, and it's still trying to crank it, but nothing's happening. This might just have a bad starter now. I'm wondering if he caused all those other problems because of an intermittent bad starter. So we're going to push it forward a little further, get down there and test the starter. Well, that concludes our testing for today. It started up, so moved it forward. I was going to lift it and play with the starter some, get it to act up again, but I got axles to do on a Honda Civic. It must be pretty easy. I think we're going to do that, and we'll get back on this one when time allows. 2 axles, 1 wheel alignment, 2012 Honda Accord. Sounds like it's got a bad hub bearing in the right front, but I don't know what's going on with all that. We'll take a look. I don't remember the car. They said I recommended axles a while ago. That's very nice. They leave a wheel lock key out for you. That's awesome. 69,000 miles. Fast and furious, bro. Does your mom know you took the muffler off her Honda? Speaking of Hondas, let's get to work. Stop horsing around. Give this car a love rating of 4 and see what's going on. I hear noises on the right side. We're going to look around a little before we take anything apart. That's what I figured. Put you guys in a steadier position. Something also going on in the right rear. Hard to turn that wheel. Looks like a new rotor with a bunch of scoring, like the brakes are staying on a little in the right rear. The left rear, that's how it's supposed to be. The right rear, not how it's supposed to be. Axles, I don't remember the car. Okay, let's lift it up further and look at the axles. Oh, that's why I recommended axles. I wouldn't even, not even I would have missed that. It's got brand new brakes on it though. They look like they might be kind of new in the back too, although this one's sticky. So I'm going to take this rear wheel off, get a really good look at that brake, and then we'll pop the bleeder loose, see if it frees up. If you open the bleeder, what happens is hoses go bad, ABS modules rarely, but they do. When a brake is staying on like that, I'll have someone push the brake pedal and let off, see how hard it is to turn the wheel, and I'll open the bleeder. If you open the bleeder and the wheel loosens up, that means you release the hydraulic pressure. It can't get back through the hose or something like that. They collapse inside. But if you loosen the bleeder and it stays tight, then the caliper is just locking up. The pistons tend to stick in the bore when they get corrosion and stuff inside. But so let's get some wheels off, take a closer look. We know it needs a right front wheel bearing. I think it's a bolt-in. No, this is a press-in one. And it's a little rusty too. That's going to be interesting. Got the engine running, so I got good power brakes. The pedal's a little low too. Give it a good pump. Head back to that right rear. Feels like it loosened up a little bit. Probably something going on with this hose. The problem too is the caliper will take a second or two to relieve pressure. It has a tapered O-ring around the piston that actually rolls the piston back just to create a little less drag. The pads always kind of drag a little bit, but it reduces the drag with that rubber O-ring, the tapered O-ring. I guess it's really not loosened up that much. Made a slight difference. I feel a pulsation too. The rotor's warped a little bit. I think it's a caliper. Could even be the slides. Yeah, this has the slides that are floating in a bracket, and a bolt just comes out the end. So we'll have to take it apart and see if they want to fix this. If they have any interest, we'll take it apart and look at the slides a little closer. But it is just the right axle, not both fronts, by the way. And I showed him the hub bearing, so we're going to see about that. Let me turn this engine off. I know we're doing the axle for sure, because there it is right there. I think I found the noise other than the bad wheel bearing. I don't know who did the brakes, but they're in trouble. Let's see if the slide's free. And find a bolt. This should be a fine thread, 8mm, like a 8. That's kind of sad. And the slide's pretty free. We just need a bolt. This thing's going to be like brand new when we're done. When I do this axle, sometimes on these you can even leave the brakes on and just take the lower ball joint out and sneak the axle out of the bearing. But I'm waiting to see if we're going to do the hub bearing before I get too into it. The thing does have some huge nuts, I'll tell you that. This is a 36mm on this little Honda. So I'll pull the axle nut off, find a bolt, and wait to see what's happening with the hub bearing part of it. Found a bolt. It's got a different size head, but that's all right. The threads are right. It's a fine 10mm thread, not an 8. Of course, now I got to go around and check them all. Oh no. Okay. Those are tight. That's cool. Let's get our 36s on here. On our big old nuts. And we got a new nut with the axle. If I was going to reuse the nut, I'd have taken a little punch and kind of peen that back up a little bit. But we got shiny new nuts. Look at that. I think this has a Rain Man Ray style reusable cotter pin. Some call it a spring clip. Some call it a clipper doodle. You call it whatever you like. I'm going to call it a 19mm nut though. How do you like that? First guess. I don't have to see it. Just give it a reach around and there it goes. I do have to pop that ball joint without doing anything, any stupid stuff to the treads and stuff, because we want to put it back together. Let's get some tools for that. I think it's a 16, 5/8, whichever you want to call it. An electric ratchet can be a hammer, but a hammer can never be an electric ratchet. Even if you saw someone say it on the internet. Now I'm going to get a hammer, speaking of hammers, and give this a love tap or two instead of just forcing it apart. want some more? There's more where that came from. That's why the socket's hard to get on and off from hammering this thing. Worst case scenario, you can file the edges, make it like brand new again. Usually come apart a little easier, I gotta say. Fast and Furious to you too. I happen to be working on a Honda just like yours. Except this one still rides nice. And it's quiet. Uh-oh. Tell me, bro. Alright. It's only awkward your first time. It's only awkward. Okay. It's a little awkward your first time, but it comes around. This thing looks like. There you go. Now I'm in the meat of the situation. I don't want my face down here. Interesting. I think it wants the pickle fork treatment. I didn't want to do that, but I'll do whatever it wants. Don't worry, fixed it. You guys probably watched me damage it. I saw how crooked it was as I was taking it off. I thought it was going to pop loose real easy. My bad. I got this handy thread file though. It's got all the different sizes on it. Metric, like a 1.25, 1.5, 3.0, 2.5. I saw, oh yeah, 0.75. Look how fine that is. I think in a video I said it backwards the other day. Someone caught it though. You guys are always on the ball. The lower the number, the finer the thread. The higher the number, the more coarse. Okay. Now I'm gonna get the pickle fork. I'll probably do it off camera. I don't want anyone to get traumatized. It's going to probably destroy the boot. $45 minutes so far. Got it. Wasn't supposed to come apart that way though. Alright, I can get the axle out now. We're gonna have to get a ball joint, of course, because it came apart before it came out of the tapered hole. That's kind of cool. First time I've ever seen that in the 40 some odd years I've been doing this. I don't think there's anything that's easy anymore, except pads and rotors. I shouldn't have said that. The next one I get will be fun. I apologize. I want you guys to feel like you're part of the work. Now if I can't get that stud out of there, of course I can destroy it now. It's already destroyed. Worst case scenario, we change the suspension arm, and then if that's frozen, we'll change the subframe. 25 minutes of pounding and turning and pounding and turning. I put a 2x4 on the arm so it wouldn't be binding on the clip as much. I don't know if that's why it finally came out or not, but it's out. That's a lot of load on there. If I screw the arm, it'll probably help, but I keep being optimistic even at this point, still trying to assume it might pop loose. But it's actually bending the stud instead of pushing out. That's cool. Never seen anything like it. Of course, I've been down here a long time, so maybe you guys do this all the time. Maybe Honda, they freeze in here. It looks like this is starting to bend, so I got to be careful. Got it. Alright, I got this metal shield out of the way. You have to take that out to have any chance of fitting something in there. Kind of like that. I can use my snap-on BJ P1 or whatever it's called. Yeah, BJ ball joint press 1. Snap that on here and we should be able to push with the remnants of this ball joint out. We got a nice fresh new one. Be good. Hopefully it'll come out. If not, one of the things says you can only replace the ball joint once. You're supposed to replace it and then put a paint mark on it, and if you see one with a paint mark, they say you replace the knuckle, never to put a second new ball joint in. I don't know why. I guess because you dig a little metal out of the knuckle with, it's got these the serrates on the original one I see, but I don't see them on this one. We're gonna figure it out though. All right, here goes nothing. I don't know if that's gonna work. This thing doesn't want to go in far enough. Let's see what those spacers I have. I thought this would fit, but it's got to be straight or really close. This is the only one I got that's even close. The next size up obviously is further out, makes it more crooked, and the next size down doesn't clear the size of the ball joint, so there's not a lot of metal there to play with. We're gonna give it a try, see what happens. It is what it is, because it isn't what it ain't. I'm about 3.5 hours into this job so far, by the way, and I got a wicked headache, but we're gonna trudge through and make it work. That's what we do. It moved a little, that's a good sign. I don't know if it'll move anymore. Something's happening, good or bad. And I think now I can use an air hammer or something and get it to go the rest of the way. I really don't want to hurt the knuckle. It's about halfway out. So let's see what we can do with an air hammer. I put it all the way, but I'll get it out, put my earmuffs on, and we'll try popping it out in the center. I highly suggest you put on your earmuffs too. I'll edit it down a little bit. Ta-da! This job's too easy. What a little troublemaker. Alright, I got the closest cups I can find on here. This one's about to fall off. I gotta set it better, but it's gotta go inside that cup and get pressed by this one on top. You gotta press it down. There's no room to get the threaded portion up. Even if you had this off the car, you can't put a threaded portion up there. So you gotta work with what you got. Sometimes ball joints has a direction. It'll usually have a divot in it or something. If it was on something that couldn't rotate. Some suspensions are weird, so you got to be careful of that. This one doesn't have that, but let's see if this works. Got a cool idea. Now let's see if it'll execute. There is a snap ring retainer ring too, so that's why I don't understand what they're talking about with the amount of ball joints you can install. I didn't put the axle on yet so that everything's out of the way. Once this is done, we're going back together like a normal axle job that should have taken 45 minutes. Now it might be bottoming out in here too. I got to be careful of that because the length was really close. I definitely don't want to force it. If I can get the snap ring on, it's in far enough. If I can't get the snap ring on, then I got to find a way to get it a little further down. And I think I might need to go about 15-20 thousandths further down. I don't have a cup that'll work, but we'll figure something out if we have to. It is really close. It's got to go another few thousandths. I space it out like that. As long as my tool will fit over the ball joint, that's the other. That's another thing. You know what I could do is put this on here. There we go. Like a glove. Snap all your snap rings together. Because they're $7 for 6 if you mess them up. Because a week after I bought this tool, I had damaged one. I asked my snap-on guy. He said $7. That's how I know. There we go. Now we're cooking with Now we're cooking with bacon grease. Come on, dude. Stop horsing around, man. I don't know if this car is possessed by demons or something, or what the dealio is, but it's starting to wear a little thin, I gotta tell you. Doesn't even have a snap ring from the factory, but they gave it to me. I want to use it. I already got to bend that back anyway, so I don't want to rub in the brakes. Now that all the bolts are back in place and stuff, I want to quiet. I don't think we're doing the hub bearing, by the way. As the lift goes. Luckily I'm short, but it doesn't matter because I'm short. The lift doesn't have to work right. I think it's just low on fluid actually. I feel better. Now I gotta put this back in. A couple of love taps. Protects the ABS sensor. Or it destroys it. depending on how it goes going back in. Oh, you weren't even watching, were you? It's right up there. Silly. I'm going to put a little bit of grease in this axle. And a little bit of grease where the snap ring is on the other side. Just kind of keeps the snap ring from flopping around. The grease just kind of holds it. A little bit. Sometimes they pop right on, but on this car, nothing is popping on or popping off. Every single thing I've done in this thing has been a fight. There you go. See, I told you it wouldn't fight me. This in here. Get that out of there. Back in the wood container. Some type of prying implement. There we go. What am I going to do with that one? Use another pry bar. Pry bars on the pry bars. Good workout, man. I'll tell you what, being a mechanic, I used to go to the gym in my younger days, but you don't really need to. It's a pretty active job. Highly recommended if you're at a desk most of the day. Not so much if you're a carpenter, roofer, mechanic, things like that. in my humble medical experience opinion, what that amounts to. What my grandpa used to say, that and a quarter will get you on the subway. Line up my holes. So far, no good. Oh, no more. I was so excited to get an axle job. It's that overwhelming positivity again. I'm gonna save this in case I need it for another repair. Using everything that came with the ball joint. It'd be funny if that was just loose and now the hub bearing's tight, but it's hard to tell. We'll put the wheel on and check it again. I gotta torque it. Put this guy back. This is probably overkill, but it was handy, so I got a 12 instead of getting a different tool altogether. Let's look up a torque spec. My goodness gracious, 242 foot-pounds. Can you believe it? A lot of people don't think you need to torque these, but I do. Especially when you suspect the hub bearing's bad and it's kind of a waste of time. But I still want to make sure it's not, doesn't have play in the hub bearing because of something I did. Ooh. I was really close. Give my 45-year-old Craftsman screwdriver a workout. If you have inferior screwdrivers, don't attempt that. We're going to do the no-look wheel tight. find your first nut. Not bad. Make sure the splash shield's not touching. I don't feel any play in the wheel bearing now. Might have been a slightly loose axle nut, but most of the times I find that damages the bearing anyway. But it's an older guy, apparently a little tight on money, so he's going to come back for the wheel bearing and the rear brake issue another time. So, make sure we're not going to hear any noises. We'll be good to go. Having the caliper bolted on helps a lot. All right, wheel lock's back in the car. I'm going to take it for a little drive. See if we can get something else done today. Maybe something that I can just put some parts in and then park out in the parking lot and be done. That'd be nice. All right, 2013 Honda. I just put the axle and ball joint in. I didn't realize that's a wheel alignment too. Always check your paperwork before you park them. And I did that. Seriously, I did. I saw something in a digital thing about an oil change and a wheel alignment. I'm like, what? But the oil change part's already done. I already got the car scanned in. Had the suspension part, probably a good idea to do a wheel alignment. I'd be more worried about the right rear brakes, but that's more expensive than a wheel alignment. So we'll do the brakes when we can and do the alignment right now. Compensation. Now I can stay in the car and do my caster sweep from here. Instead of using the brake pedal depressor. I am the brake pedal depressor. Whoop. It's going to be a little off to the right. I'm going to put the steering wheel lock on it. We're going to get out there and see what we can do about that redness. Those itchy, watery rednesses. That is too much red in the toe. There's an adjustment for that. So let's go. Looks like about an 18. And a little tiny nut on the other side, or bolt actually, that's the nut. Ask me how I know. I might have needed my 18. I think I grabbed 17, 19. Oh, I told you it was a 17. And it looked like a 15 or a 14. I'm gonna try a 14. I'm living on the edge, feeling adventurous right now because things have been going so smoothly on this car. I know it's not even going to be rusty. What do you think about that? That's right, I said it out loud before I turned it. Some people ride roller coasters. I like making predictions. Told you. Don't be scared. A little bit of bragging. Doesn't mean it's always going to not work out. Just sometimes. Not terribly tight. Now I want to go out on the front of the wheel. So I'm going to turn it clockwise so that the bolt goes out and moves the wheel with it. Man, you see that? Uh-oh, I smell rain. I actually like that smell. Bless you. You smell that? That's nice. I really, right when it's ready to start raining, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. I think I remember it as a kid up on Long Island as well, but I know in Florida you can smell the rain coming. This thing needs to be serviced pretty bad, I think. I just cleaned the bathroom and that's about as far as I go for today. Maybe I'll service those tomorrow. I bet you don't believe me either. Oh, should have seen how yellow the toilet was. Fixed it. I fixed a lot of stuff. Caster was green before. I'm assuming it'll be alright. We're gonna set that front toe. Now, I'm gonna tighten my jam nuts. This thing's pretty rusty, but everything turned. Only the ball joint gave me trouble. Everything else made up for it. That's good. I'm gonna take it. Who are we kidding? I adjusted it off camera and got it closer. You know I couldn't leave it like that. You can't kill old Toyotas. Just can't kill them. Especially if Joe's fixing them. Print. Now, just in case, we get a lot of new subscribers this month, setting records. Before I hit the reset button, which I always like to reset it for my co-workers so they don't have to do it for me. Show measurements, show virtual view. There it is. I'll take the steering wheel lock off first to make sure the alignment specs are still green and centered with the wheels centered, but not locked. In rare instances, when you make a lot of adjustments, you'll take the wheel lock off and the wheel will go thunk. So that's what we're doing, avoiding that. Golden. I already printed it out, sent it to the front desk. Now I click reset. So when the next guy starts, it just says begin alignment over here. Like that. Oh, it's been waiting for me. Finally getting caught up. So I'm down at a Ferrari and F150 and there'll be nothing less left to do, I guess. We just pushed it up out of the grass. I put some air in the tires. They were like 6 pounds of pressure. And the holes in the grass are like 6 inches deep. You can see where the tires were in the ground. We tried to push it, we couldn't. But luckily Joe got the shop truck running. So we used that. And pulled it out. Barely did it too. It was sliding and spinning the tires. We had to kind of snatch it. I should have filmed it probably, because it would have been funny. But I was more nervous about getting it done. I apologize. I'm gonna try to figure out why this doesn't start. And not tonight. It's getting late. The battery was 0 volts, so hopefully the battery will cover it. I think we put it in like a year ago. The truck's been sitting out in the grass forever while we try to figure out what's going on with it. And a few guys have looked at it with no success. What did they say? It's been to 3 shops. The dealership couldn't figure it out. They turned it away and said, I'm not touching that thing. It's a 91. It's actually a pretty solid truck, but like a lot of 91s, you know, the plastic's shot, all kinds of stuff is going on with it. It's got some issues. We're just going to try to get it running, I guess. There's not much else for us to do. Supposedly someone put a computer in it and some sensors and a relay, but these things are bad. This has dual tanks. If the selector switches aren't working correctly, the selector is what turns on the fuel pump, or which fuel pump's going to get the power and which sending unit is going to get the power. So you go from one tank to the next. That selector is responsible for about 6 different contacts. So it's possible that that's the problem, and we're going to find out tomorrow. So we're buttoning it up for today. Not a very exciting day today. We did get a couple things done, but we mostly fought with a Honda all day. It was like a 3-hour job and it took like 5.5 hours. Happens sometimes. You do the best you can, you make it work, and next thing you know, it's time for an adult beverage and a shower. Maybe a little dinner. So we're buttoning it up for today. Torque the like button on your way out. I appreciate you watching. Hope you enjoyed it. And more than anything though, I hope I see you in the next video, because you're awesome.